There's something about that engine note. That is a Coyote V8, 5 liters of American excellence. And it's been reworked because what I'm driving is the 2024 Ford Mustang GT. All right, this is the S650 generation Mustang, the latest and the greatest. And I'm a fan so far. It's like any Mustang though. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. So what have they done? They've reworked the chassis, they've reworked the steering, they've reworked the engine, and they've reworked the styling of the thing inside and out. The brakes feel good. The suspension is really nicely tuned. The star of the show is, of course, the reworked Coyote V8 engine. It's still fun, it's still good, it makes more power, and it lets you do dumb shit like this as he checks his rear view to make sure no one's there. By the way, Mustang drivers, if you want to spin the tires, you can control the car. I don't know what your problem is, but that's a tired old joke. Back to the engine. 480 horse, 415 torque. If you spend the money for the active exhaust, it bumps it to 486 horsepower and 418 pound-feet of torque. So, you know, a nice little push to not quite put you into dark horse territory. Raptor just taking the dirt line. Not quite dark horse territory, but you're getting there. So the Mustang GT, heck of a machine. On the outside, I'm a fan of the styling upgrades. I really like the notch-looking tail lights there. It almost reminds me of the race car. I think it's a really cool touch. The front end looks fine to me. I think the headlight design is really nice. The wheels look good. And anytime you're in a Mustang with grabber blue paint, that's a very good thing as well. I do prefer my Mustangs painted a bit darker. You know, may say a Highland green is a great color, but grabber blue is a classic color that does look excellent on this machine. The little black touches on the outside look great too. It's just a really nice looking truck. That truck went by. It's just a really nice looking Mustang. On the inside, the seats are super comfortable. Now, here's the part that everyone's gonna bitch about. The new screens. You have a 13.2 inch screen and a 12.3 inch digital display ahead of you that looks almost together under one piece of curved glass. I think it looks awesome. I wish you had actual push buttons for the HVAC stuff. There's a volume knob so you can go up and down, but it is all touchscreen, which that part is lame, minus the traction control and the My Mustang button, and then max defrost and the hazard lights, and then the start stop next to it. But the screens look fantastic. Like, the quality of the screens is really good. And then the best part of the screens is that you can change the gauge cluster, and one of the options, you know, you have the traditional regular looking stuff. They put 80s Fox body gauges in this thing, and they look awesome. And then when you're at night, they got that greenish glow to them. These Fox body, I've left them on the whole time because it doesn't have to be just mode specific. You can set it so that it's all Fox body all the time, and it looks, I love it. I love it. I sent it to my friend who is a Mustang owner and fan. He's like, oh yeah, those look pretty good. He's like, oh, it goes to 160 though, and not 85. It's got the little red hash at 55. The gauges look awesome. I love them. Ergonomically, the steering wheel feels great. Vision is, you know, as good as you can expect out of a pony car. It's better than a Camaro, but there's room in the back seat if you slide this all the way forward. I've been driving my daughter to school, but you know, you've got Apple CarPlay up, it looks good. And then at the bottom, the HVAC stuff stays there. So at least it's on the screen. You don't have to hunt for it. So that's a decent concession that they've done for that. But enough of that, because this is a Mustang and we want to talk about driving it. Engine noise is excellent. I already said that. I love the way the Coyote sounds. You know, LSs are magical engines, but a Coyote V8 is just a great sounding thing. From that low guttural on up to, you know, you're revving this thing into the 7s, which is a blast for a big V8. You can still get these with a 6-speed stick, which is also awesome. However, let me just get out of it. Let me just put it in drive. This one has the 10-speed automatic. And I don't love it. It's a very middle of the pack, mediocre gearbox. In normal modes, it wants to shift for fuel economy too quickly. In track, it's nice that it holds gears, but sometimes it gets a little annoying. Sport is kind of the best middle ground, but then you can't fine tune the custom driving mode so that if you wanted like the dampers set one way, the steering set another way, it's not quite there yet. So when I put this in the custom mode, it's in track, but then I just have to shift it myself with the paddles. And then sometimes it's like a little lazy on the shifts, which is weird. And then sometimes it's a little rough on downshift. I don't know, I think the tuning is just off of it. You don't notice it as much in a Ford Raptor, though that had some weird shifts too. When I drove the Raptor R, specifically first to second, was like oddly clunky. Whatever. I'm still enjoying the car a lot. I just know that I would enjoy it even more with the 6-speed manual gearbox. And that's unfortunate for EcoBoost owners, because you can get this with an EcoBoost still. That engine sounds great with 315 horsepower out of that Turbo 4. Awesome. That's 10-speed only, which seems like a stupid idea. And then, whatever. And then at the other end of the spectrum is the Dark Horse, which is, I can't wait to get my hands on that. That seems like it's gonna be a lot of fun, just more track focused. But if you don't wanna go that crazy, you can get a GT with the Performance Pack. Performance Pack is also available on the EcoBoost, and that gets you Torsen limited slip out back, the magnetic ride dampers, which sounds like a great upgrade, and 19-inch wheels, stuff like that. So, just ride and handling improvements, sporty, more aggressive improvements. Good stuff. I already mentioned the active exhaust, which gets you a little bit more horsepower. But this is just a GT Premium, so you get the nicer screens. It has 401A equipment group, which is like the 12-speaker B&O system, and then some more safety gear. And that brings us to price, which that part sucks, not gonna lie. Base price of a GT is about 44 or something like that. Base price of this one I think is 46 as tested. It's $52,000, and this is a non-performance pack car, which I think adds $5 grand right away, which is wheels, limited slip, gearing, so it makes sense. There's expensive stuff in there, the dampers, of course. But at that point you're in the 60s, and at that point you're in dark horse countries. I mean, so a GT Premium, or excuse me, a GT with Performance Pack just is priced right there with the Dark Horse. You get the Dark Horse. I don't understand that unless they're saying they want to just bump up sales of the Dark Horse, which, I just don't get it. It's very expensive. EcoBoosts are in the 30s, which is great. And again, that 315 horsepower is a fun engine, but, grab the paddles. 480's better. There's a lot to like about this car. Like I said, I really like the looks. This thing's getting thumbs up, grabber blue, it catches your eye. I do like the taillight treatment and the headlight treatment. It's just a good looking car. It's very comfortable inside. This doesn't have the Recaros, this has the regular seats. These seats are great. I feel great in them. I'm curious to try the Recaros. My gripes are that HVAC is relegated to touchscreen. The 10-speed is just mediocre, and the price. But a price is a complaint about literally every modern car these days. Everything is too damn expensive, but that's just kind of how it is. But the ride quality is excellent. You can still have Mustang shenanigans in this. It has drag mode, it has line lock, it has all that fun stuff. If you have the manual version, you could option it with that drift handbrake, which I really got to try that thing out to see how that feels. I've heard very good things about it. Overall though, S650 is, in my book, this thing's a winner, but give me the Dark Horse, give me the manual gearbox, and let's go!